Snow piled higher than my knees, the kind that bites through jeans and socks until you can't feel your toes. I was trudging back from the liquor store with a six-pack when I saw 3 suspicious lumps under a drift. At first, I thought some kids had dumped mannequins in the snow as a prank. But no, these weren't mannequins. They had skin that shimmered like green marble, hair frosted stiff, lips blue as winter sky. And boobs. Huge, unmistakably alien boobs. Great, I muttered. Either I just found 3 dead porn stars from Mars, or I'm hallucinating from cheap whiskey fumes. I did what any responsible man would do, poked one with my boot. To my surprise, she groaned. A long, dramatic groan, like a bad soap opera actor. Then her eyes snapped open, silver, glowing faintly, and she coughed out snow. Her sisters followed suit, gasping awake. One immediately muttered something in a language that sounded like cats fighting inside a blender. The second hissed, "Infertile, frozen, cursed," before collapsing back in the snow. The third just squinted at me and said, "Nice package," pointing at my grocery bag. I blinked. "You mean the bear?" "No," she said, eyes dropping lower. Great. First 5 minutes of alien contact, and I was already being sexily harassed by popsicles. I hauled them out one by one, muttering about frostbite lawsuits. Their bodies were surprisingly warm under the frost, radiating heat like space heaters wrapped in lingerie. As I dragged the last one upright, she slurred, "You are, human, doctor of fertility." "What?" "No. I sell tires." "Close enough," she said, leaning against me like a drunk prom date. That's when the first sister snapped awake and shouted, "We are infertile. The shame of our clan. Buried alive in snow until death claims us." Her voice cracked with theatric despair, then she belched loudly, a cloud of icy vapor escaping. I stared at them, then at my bear. How many of these did I already drink? The sisters began arguing in their alien tongue, pointing at me, at themselves, then at my crotch. The gist was obvious. They thought I was some miracle cure for their barren wombs. Either that or they wanted to roast me on a spit. Honestly, both seemed possible. "Look," I said, holding up my hands, "I don't know what kinky fertility cult you ladies belong to, but I'm not qualified. I barely kept a cactus alive." The tall one with silver hair leaned in until her lips almost brushed my ear. "Then perhaps you need practice." I nearly dropped the beer. "Lady, I just met you. And your sisters are..." Listening, the deadpan one interrupted, arms crossed. "We approve." Jesus Christ. 3 alien sisters, and they were basically a walking porn parody already. One of them grabbed my arm. "By galactic law, you saved us. Hospitality is required. You must take us to your dwelling." "Hospitality, huh?" I muttered. "That sounds like a code word for orgy." They all nodded enthusiastically. I groaned. "Fine. But no tentacle stuff. I don't have the stomach for anime clichés." Dragging 3 alien women through snow while they kept making innuendos wasn't easy. One kept asking if my staff was adequate for the trials ahead. Another wanted to know if Earth had egg warmers. The third just laughed at every human curse word I muttered, repeating "fuck" like it was the funniest thing in the galaxy. By the time we reached my apartment, I was exhausted. I shoved the door open, and they stumbled inside, dripping melted snow all over my carpet. One immediately stripped off the frost-crusted wrap clinging to her body. I almost dropped the beer again. "Hey, ever heard of boundaries?" She tilted her head. "Is boundary a euphemism?" "No. It's a polite way of saying keep your damn clothes on." The others followed suit, peeling layers off until my living room looked like the aftermath of a cosmic strip show. Their skin shimmered under the light, covered in strange patterns that shifted like tattoos. Beautiful, yes, but distracting as hell. "Okay, ground rules," I said firmly. 1. No nudity on the couch. 2. No talking about my anatomy like it's a science exhibit. 3. I am not your fertility doctor, test subject, or sperm donor. They nodded in unison. Then the tall one smirked. So, what do we call you instead? Husband? Consort? Household stud? I groaned. Call me Steve. The deadpan one repeated it flatly, Stud Steve. No, just Steve. Stud Steve, all three echoed together, giggling like teenagers. I cracked open a beer. I should have left you in the Snowdrift. The silver-haired one leaned closer, brushing a hand across my chest. But then who would warm us now? Her sister chimed in, yes, human body temperature is optimal for thawing and breeding. I choked on my drink. Breeding? Lady, I don't even have a goldfish, much less interstellar child support money. They laughed again, a sound halfway between bells and hyenas. Then the deadpan sister muttered, relax. We're infertile, remember? Nothing grows in these barren fields. She gestured at herself dramatically. The others gasped. Sister, don't say that in front of our savior. What? He should know. Besides, maybe he likes hopeless causes. They all turned to stare at me. My face burned red. Listen, I just wanted a quiet night with Bay and TV. Not this. The silver-haired one grinned. Too late, Stud Steve. By rescuing us, you bound your fate to ours. Now we live together, and study you, thoroughly. I slammed my beer on the table. You're not moving in. 5 minutes later, they were already rearranging my furniture, raiding the fridge, and arguing over who got the biggest bedroom. I sighed. Goddamn-it. I've been invaded by alien slutsicles. From the kitchen, one shouted, we heard that. And yes, we are delicious. I facepalmed. This was going to be a long, long winter. By morning, my apartment looked like an alien frat house. The three sisters had claimed every surface like territorial cats. One was sprawled naked across the couch, another had turned my shower into a steam sauna full of glowing bubbles, and the third was dissecting my microwave with a butter knife while humming an alien drinking song. Do you people understand the concept of respect? I asked, clutching my coffee like a lifeline. Silverhair, who had decided the couch was her throne, smirked. We respect you, Stud Steve. Very thoroughly. Especially that staff of yours. I nearly dropped my mug. Stop calling it that. Deadpan's sister didn't even look up from the microwave. Statistically speaking, staff length is the only respectable thing about him. Her tone was so dry I couldn't tell if she was mocking me or complimenting me. Probably both. Meanwhile, naive sister peeked out of the bathroom, hair dripping, bubbles clinging to her body. Steve, this shower is very stimulating. It vibrates in so many places. It's water pressure. I yelled. Not a sex toy. She tilted her head. So, it's foreplay. I gave up. Coffee wasn't strong enough for this. The sisters spent the rest of the morning exploring human customs, which apparently meant violating every single one of my boundaries. They raided my fridge and tried to eat raw eggs. They mistook my vacuum cleaner for some kind of mating probe and nearly tore the carpet apart. And when I tried to watch TV, they all gathered around, fascinated by a cooking show. Naive sister whispered, so humans seduce each other by handling meat delicately. Silverhair grinned. We can do that. 5 minutes later, they were in my kitchen, slapping hot dogs around like swords and chanting seduction sausages while I buried my face in my hands. It only got worse when they discovered alcohol. Deadpan's sister found my liquor stash and announced, if human fluids are this intoxicating, no wonder your species breeds so recklessly. Then she downed half a bottle of vodka without flinching. Silverhair tried wine, gagged, and said, tastes like fermented disappointment. Then she gave me a slow look and added, not unlike human men, I imagine. Naive sister mixed Bay with dish soap because she thought the foam made it stronger. She ended up burping bubbles all night, giggling like a child every time one floated past her nose. I should have been furious, but honestly, part of me was laughing. Not out loud, of course, I didn't want to encourage them. But there was something so ridiculous about 3 intergalactic fertility rejects turning my bachelor pad into an alien frat comedy. The real trouble started when they discovered my bed. I walked into my room and found all 3 piled on it, limbs tangled, arguing about who got to sleep next to me. "This side is mine," Silverhair declared, patting the pillow. "No, you hog space," Deadpan countered. "Your ass is galactically disproportionate." "At least mine gets attention," Silverhair shot back. Naive Sister tugged the blanket. "Can I just hold hands with him? That's romantic, right?" I threw my arms in the air. "Nobody's holding anything. Get out of my bed." They pouted in unison like synchronized swimmers of disappointment. Silverhair batted her eyelashes. "But Stud Steve, warmth is crucial for survival." "Yeah, well, survival can happen on the damn couch." Deadpan murmured, "Couch sex? How very working class of you." I glared. "There is no couch sex. Or bed sex. Or any sex. Do you hear me?" They blinked, then burst out laughing like I'd just told the funniest joke in the galaxy. The laughter died down only when my downstairs neighbor banged on the ceiling with a broomstick. "Keep it down up there. Some of us have jobs." Silverhair shouted back, "We're trying to breed, you prude." I smacked my forehead. "We're gonna get evicted." Later that night, after they finally settled, meaning Silverhair hogged the couch, Naive Sister curled up in my bed despite my protests, and Deadpan was still tinkering with the microwave, I sat with another beer, staring at the chaos. "Why me?" I muttered. "Of all the humans on Earth, why did I have to rescue the interstellar Spice Girls of infertility?" Deadpan looked up from her screwdriver work. "Because you were lonely enough to notice us. Desperation has a scent, and you reeked of it." I sputtered. "That's not, shut up." She smirked, monotone as ever. "Don't worry. We like desperate men. They try harder." Before I could argue, Silverhair padded over, slipping into my lap like she owned it. She ran her fingers through my hair, nails grazing my scalp. "Don't be so grumpy, Stud Steve. You saved us. That means you belong to us now. In our culture, that's basically marriage." "Marriage?" Naive Sister popped her head out of my bedroom. "Ooh, does that mean we get cake?" Silverhair purred. "Oh, he'll give us cake." Repeatedly. I shoved her off my lap. "That's not how cake works." They ignored me, of course. By the time midnight rolled around, they'd raided my closet, stolen my hoodies, and were lounging around like queens in exile. I tried one last time to set rules. Okay. Final ground rules. No nudity in public areas. No sex jokes before coffee. And for the love of God, no experimenting on my appliances. They nodded solemnly. Then Naive Sister asked, "What about experimenting on you?" I took a long swig of beer. "I'm moving to Canada." Silverhair grinned wickedly. "We'll come with you." Deadpan added, "Snowdrifts are romantic." "We know." I realized, with sinking dread, that I was completely screwed. Not literally. Yet. It started with charts. I came home from work, yes, somehow I still had a job after all this, and found my living room plastered with diagrams, graphs, and stick figures. The aliens had converted my coffee table into what looked like a fertility seminar. Silverhair stood proudly in front of a poster board. "Welcome, Stud Steve, to the fertility trials." I dropped my keys. "The what now?" Deadpan pointed at a crude drawing of me next to 3 eggs. Experiment 1, direct insemination. Success rate, optimistic. Naive Sister held up a basket of bananas. "We brought props." I groaned. "No. Absolutely not. I am not signing up for some cosmic breeding Olympics." Silverhair winked. "Too late. Participation is mandatory. Galactic law." I'm starting to hate galactic law. They sat me down and launched into their presentation. It was like a corporate pitch deck if the product was my sperm. Silverhair explained the cultural importance of fertility in their species, making every other word sound like porn. Naive sister showed diagrams of alien reproductive organs that looked suspiciously like kitchen appliances. And Deadpan? She read erotic poetry in a monotone that made me want to walk into traffic. In the twilight of barren fields, the seed shall wander, thrusting, pulsing, yearning. She didn't even blink. I slammed my beer. Jesus Christ, you people could make sex sound like a funeral. Silverhair leaned closer. Funerals can be sexy. I choked. No, they can't. Then came the clinical trials. First up was Silverhair. She dimmed the lights, lit candles, and strutted around like she was starring in a porno audition. Prepare yourself, Stud Steve. You are about to witness intergalactic seduction. She tripped on my rug, landed face first on the couch, and tried to play it off as a dominant position. I laughed so hard I almost passed out. Next was Naive Sister. She showed up in my bedroom with a lab coat and a stack of index cards. Okay. Step 1, exposure of genitals. Step 2, insertion of. Stop reading it like IKEA instructions. I shouted. She pouted. But I wanted to be thorough. Deadpan's attempt was the worst. She locked the door, sat me on the bed, and pulled out a notebook. Then she just stared. For 20 straight minutes. Writing things down occasionally. Finally, I snapped. What the hell are you doing? Documenting, she said flatly. Every twitch. Every bead of sweat. Every disappointed sigh. I buried my face in my hands. This is the least erotic threesome in history. That's when they unveiled the machine. It looked like a cross between a tanning bed and a medieval torture rack. Wires dangled everywhere, glowing tubes pulsed with suspicious fluids, and there was a funnel at one end that I really didn't want to ask about. This is the Fertility Enhancer 9000, Silverhair announced proudly. It looks like a sex toy designed by Dr. Frankenstein, I muttered. Naive Sister clapped her hands. You get inside, we push the buttons, and boom, fertile babies. Boom? Did you just say boom? Deadpan corrected, more like splat. I backed away. No way. Nope. Not happening. I am not climbing into a suicide vibrator. Silverhair gave me puppy eyes. But Stud Steve, you're our only hope. Don't you want to be the father of the first hybrid generation? I don't even want to be the father of a goldfish, let alone 3 alien brats. They ignored me, grabbed me by the arms, and shoved me toward the machine. I flailed, shouted, cursed, then suddenly I was strapped in. The machine hummed to life, lights flickering, tubes bubbling ominously. I braced for pain, death, or spontaneous castration. Instead, the whole thing exploded. Glowing green goo splattered everywhere. The walls dripped slime, the couch was ruined, and I looked like I'd been slimed at a Nickelodeon awards show for perverts. For a moment, silence. Then Naive Sister sneezed, shooting green bubbles out of her nose. Silverhair collapsed into hysterical laughter. Deadpan stared at me, completely unfazed, and deadpanned, premature explosion. Tragic. I peeled slime off my face. This is my life now. Covered in alien jizz. They cackled like hyenas. Even Deadpan cracked the tiniest smile. The night spiraled into drunken chaos. We gave up on science, ordered pizza, and drank until the goo dried into crusty patches on the carpet. Naive Sister tried to toast with a slice of pepperoni, Silverhair declared herself queen of fertility despite nothing working, and Deadpan kept muttering about statistical failure rates while secretly sipping vodka straight from the bottle. At some point, Silverhair slid into my lap again, wrapping gooey arms around me. You know, Stud Steve, even if we never get fertile, we still get to have fun trying. Naive Sister giggled, cheeks flushed. Practice makes perfect. Deadpan clinked her vodka bottle against mine. Or at least practice makes noise. The 3 of them howled with laughter, goo dripping from their hair, pizza grease on their fingers. And me? I laughed too. Because honestly, what else could I do? I'd started the night as a lonely guy with a six-pack. Now I was the unwilling star of the galaxy's dumbest fertility trial. And God help me, part of me was actually enjoying it. By week 3, my apartment was unrecognizable. What used to be a bachelor cave with a busted couch and a fridge full of beer had turned into alien sorority housing. The sisters had redecorated with glowing crystals that pulsed to the beat of their laughter. My microwave was still broken from the fertility trials. My neighbor thought I was running an interspecies brothel, and my landlord stopped by once before leaving a terrified note under my door, "Pay rent or I call the CDC." Silverhair was sprawled across my lap again, flipping through a stolen magazine. "So tell me, Stud Steve, what's your favorite position?" I muttered, sitting alone in peace. She smirked. "Boring. Mine's reverse gravity with plasma cuffs." Naive sister burst into the room wearing one of my shirts backwards. "Steve, did you know humans put sticks in rings to prove love? I want sticks. And rings. And maybe chocolate too." I sighed. "It's called marriage, and you don't want it. Trust me." Deadpan strolled in, sipping vodka from a measuring cup. Statistically, he's right. Human marriages fail half the time. But at least the sex is memorable until the resentment sets in. "Thank you, Dr. Buzzkill," I muttered. They ignored me, as usual, and launched into another argument about who got to claim me tonight. Silverhair licked her lips suggestively, Naive sister pouted about cuddle rights, and Deadpan just raised an eyebrow and said, "Whoever gets him should at least clean the sheets afterward." I cracked open a beer. I am not a prize to be fought over. I am a man with dignity. Silverhair traced a finger down my chest. "Then why are you blushing?" I shoved her off my lap. "Because I'm drunk, not desperate." She purred, "Drunk and desperate. Our favorite combination." The chaos escalated when the neighbors started complaining again. Apparently, the sisters' karaoke nights sounded like ritual mating calls. The lady downstairs left a note, "Please stop summoning demons at 2 a.m. Some of us have work in the morning." Silverhair laughed so hard she fell off the couch. Deadpan read it aloud in her monotone voice, making it sound like the world's most passive-aggressive obituary. Naive sister suggested we actually summon a demon to prove her wrong. I told her no, because the last thing my deposit needed was a sulfur stain. Then came the prank wars. One morning, I found 3 positive pregnancy tests lined up on the bathroom counter. My heart nearly exploded until I realized they were fakes. I stormed out, waving them like evidence. "Not funny." Silverhair doubled over laughing. "You should have seen your face. Priceless." Naive sister tilted her head. "Wait, so, not pregnant?" Deadpan sipped her vodka. "Impossible. Unless Stud Steve's sperm has magical properties. Which, given his diet of beer and pizza, seems unlikely." I threw the tests in the trash. "You 3 are going to kill me before child support ever does." Despite everything, the chaos, the humiliation, the non-stop innuendos, I couldn't deny something had changed. My apartment was louder, messier, more insane than ever. But it wasn't empty anymore. For the first time in years, I wasn't lonely. I had company. Crazy, raunchy, alien company that drove me insane but also made me laugh until my ribs hurt. One night, after too many drinks, the 4 of us collapsed into a tangle on the floor. It started as a failed attempt at a foursome, too many elbows, not enough coordination, someone accidentally turned on the vacuum cleaner again, but ended in pizza boxes, half-drunken singing, and ridiculous arguments about toppings. "Pineapple is sacred," Silverhair insisted. "It's a crime," Deadpan countered. "Punishable by execution." Naive sister stuffed her cheeks with cheese. "I like all the toppings. Even anchovies." We all groaned in unison. At some point, I leaned back against the wall, watching them bicker and laugh. Silverhair noticed and leaned against me, head on my shoulder. "See, Stud Steve? We don't need fertility. We just need fun." Naive sister cuddled up on my other side. "And chocolate." Deadpan raised her glass. And vodka. I laughed, surprising myself. You know what? You're right. Maybe this isn't a disaster. Maybe it's just my life now. Silverhair kissed my cheek. Careful. That almost sounded like commitment. I groaned. Don't push it. The next morning, I woke up to another note from my landlord. Final warning. Either evict your alien harem or I will. I crumpled it and tossed it into the trash. Because honestly, I didn't care. Yeah, they were insane. Yeah, they ruined my furniture, drank all my booze, and made my neighbors think I was running a space orgy. But they were mine. My frostbitten, infertile, raunchy alien roommates who somehow turned my lonely bachelor life into a cosmic sitcom. As I cracked open a morning beer, Deadpan shuffled past in nothing but one of my hoodies. She glanced at me, dead eyes sparkling just a little. Admit it, Stud Steve. You love us. I smirked. Love is a strong word. Silverhair popped her head out of the kitchen. So is sex. We prefer that one. Naive sister giggled from the couch. Does that mean we get breakfast, in bed? I shook my head, laughing despite myself. You three are going to kill me. Deadpan took a sip from her glass. At least you'll die satisfied. And for the first time since dragging them out of that snowdrift, I believed it.